Good evening.
Bonsoir. How are we?
Not too bad. Did you like my video of the centenary of Northern Ireland at Carrickfergus Castle tonight?
I did. I saw you were out and about. I thought to myself, I bet he's out and he's not going to make it back in time. But lo and behold, he came back just in time to eat crisps in my ear just before we start again.
I have to eat something.
I've got a Dalek. Exterminate. And now I know how it works. I sort of made a balls of it last week. Exterminate. So,
okay, explain to me what you were doing wrong.
I thought it was supposed to vibrate, and I wasn't sure what it was supposed to do, but it doesn't. It does weird things. So you have to turn it on. We light at the top, and then you pour it in at an angle, and you see the way it goes. It sort of presses. See the way it goes different there. Look,
Pulsates. Yeah,
it pulsates, and then you turn it like this. It's a whole palaver of shit, really, but it's not bad. Okay. And you fill it up to it's, a bit over that. That'll do. Nearly. And there we go. And you let that settle. Exterminate. See, and it's all settling down. But the thing is, the normal tin is 440, and that's 558. So you're getting a fair bit more,
I must admit, it looks better this week, actually. It seems to have... It looks better in the picture.
I have practiced. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it just settles down, and you get a wee dome and all. You get it, the cream up and all. Yeah, it's creamier. It's definitely creamier. But the problem is, you have to make sure this light goes out, and you have to make sure to turn it back on again. So, anyway.
Okay, so that isn't a gimmick then. You reckon that's cutting it, that one?
Yeah, that's pretty good. The only thing is, as you might well be aware, I'm not a big fan of chilled drinks unless it's really hot. So I don't chill my Guinness. I like Guinness sitting a while. And they tell you this. So make sure you basically freeze it cold. I don't understand that, because I always remember whenever the old boys were drinking Guinness back in the day, it was always warm Guinness they were drinking, and cold flow and all that. I don't get it. Anyway,
couldn't drink it. Better say hello to everybody tonight. Remember to comment, like, and share. Connor Ryan is saying evening all. Michael Matthews, good evening, lads. Patrick Mulkey, good evening. Jarlath Watson again this week. Thank you very much. Evening, lads. Thomas Jones, hi. Peter Stewart, good evening. Good evening, gentlemen. Nick Soar, good evening all.
Evening, Nick.
Stephen Quinn, evening, boys. John Dunn, very nice, Marty. Well done. It looks a lot better this week.
Doesn't it? That looks a lot better. I made a balls of it last week, so we hope that. Look at that, the top of it and everything.
It looks perfect. Darren Barney Milligan, evening, everyone. Linda Cox, good evening to you. Trevor Watson, hi to you. Vic Cameron's in this week. Evening to you, Vic. And Frank Hearn said, evening all, sitting with a wee cast-strength Silky. Was lucky enough to get bottles 99 and 100. Yes, they did arrive.
Very nice. 100's a keeper.
100 is a keeper. 100 not out. Yeah. Julie Mason, good evening to you. I think Mark Kerr's down in the Glens of Antrim tonight, so you mightn't getting reception. William McClellan, even to you. Yes. Shane Foley, good evening. Robert Gustavson, Nick Source saying thanks for the mention. Yeah, we always give you a mention if you tune into us and hit comment, hit like and share. We always give you a mention. Declan Boyle, hello everyone. It is live, people think it's recorded. Bits of it are recorded, but most of it is live.
Sometimes recorded.
Nick Source saying evening, Murray. Thomas Jones is saying that Guinness looks better than the new stout called Island's Edge. Ooh, Island's Edge. Must look that one up.
Possibly. Yeah.
Brenton O'Reilly, greetings from Donegal. Yeah, Donegal gets a mention tonight, Marty, doesn't it? And
of course,
Michael Matthews is saying, you'll have to get the Guinness Guru on to discuss what we drink when we're not drinking whiskey.
No, we don't take it extremes, Michael. We don't go mad, mate.
William Fisher saying evening oil. And Keith Smith, hi chaps. Remember, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe on YouTube in particular.
Please.
Now, shall we hit the button tonight, shall we?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, love it, still love it. Now, controversy is raging, and I don't want to upset any mad Muslims or anything like that. We're not doing this, okay? All I'm going to say is there's been controversy raging over a Malaysian whiskey, and this is a Malaysian MP who said that drinking Tima whiskey is akin to drinking Malaysian women. And I'm not exactly sure what she was talking about, but she has apologised. But this has been going on for weeks. And it's in Malaysia, and it's a whiskey called Tima, right? And some people have been offended by this because it's called Tima. Now, the word Tima comes from the word tin, which is hark back to the fact that Malaysia used to be the biggest tin producer in the world. I didn't know that. But yeah, so play the video and we'll just see Tima whiskey and I'll explain a bit more about it.
Recently, a little-known brand of peated whiskey began to make the international rounds. It got people talking, tasting, admiring. It began to gather a small and loyal following. But you can't keep a good secret for long. In no time, it won several international awards for its outstanding flavour. What whiskey was this? And where was it from? As a peated whiskey, surely it must hail from the land of kilts, clans and castles. Well, no. Introducing Tima, the fine double-peated whiskey and international taste sensation proudly made in Malaysia. You may be surprised to learn that Malaysia has a long tradition of whiskey culture. Back in the days of British Malaya, men like the colourful, charismatic Captain Tristram Speedy. That man on every Tima bottle, he brought law and order, cricket, and the yearning for a civilised drink at day's end. They also oversaw the lucrative tin mining industry, hence our name. Tima is the word for tin in Malay, and harks back to that era and that culture of whiskey camaraderie and conviviality which has endured to this day. Winepack, the makers of Tima, have created a Malaysian spirit that can more than hold its own in the international market, with its superb blend of craftsmanship, sophistication and respect, founded on a proud tradition. Tima's fine balance of malt and sugarcane molasses imparts a unique peat-infused character, an exotic hint of the tropics. Light, fruity notes for the nose and a faint floral hint are followed by a delightful palate, culminating in a sweet, lingering light oak finish. Tima's exceptional attributes won the judges over at the 2020 World Spirits Competition in San Francisco, which awarded Tima a silver as an outstanding spirit that displays refinement, finesse, and complexity. Further recognition was followed with a silver tasting award from the International Spirits Challenge 2020. Rocky or neat, party or intimate gathering, lift a glass, raise a toast, and enjoy the peated whiskey proudly distilled, blended, and bottled in Malaysia.
Ooh, that looks pretty legit. Looks pretty nice, actually.
Aye. Well, the controversy with the name is it sounds like the shortened Arabic version of Fatima, who's the daughter of Muhammad. So you can understand why some people get a bit angsty about that. And the guy on the front of the bottle, he looks like he's wearing a copy of the Arabic sort of Muslim skull cap. So a lot of people have said we want this changed because it causes confusion and that they're maybe trying to entice Muslims to drink. So you can kind of understand. It's understandable maybe why they're getting a little bit angsty about this. Now, this has been going on for a long time, for weeks now. And a lot of people are now, this woman here, she's Rushnat Alvi, and she has apologised for this because nobody's really 100% sure what she was talking about. But the idea that to drink this was like drinking Malaysian women, I don't know. Nice to know that other elected officials are almost as nuts as ours, you know. But here's the other controversy. And they're only doing really what the Japanese whiskey trade did. And that was, they say that it's made and blended and stuff in Malaysia. It's actually 2 Islay malts. That's why they say double peated. They've bought in 2 Islay malts, blended it up, and then put in neutral grain spirit to cheapen it down. So technically, it wouldn't be whiskey here. It's a very sort of strange mix, but that's basically what Japanese have been doing for a period of time. But the whole thing's a bit controversial.
Okay.
But I thought it was a bit strange. This has been going on for weeks, and if anybody follows any sort of whiskey news, it keeps popping up, and I thought they sort of have to mention it, you know.
Well, that's it. But my silence speaks volumes because I don't say anything.
No, it's just nuts. But well, the company is thinking of changing its name, which is probably in a fairly largely Muslim country. I can understand.
Why do they call it tin? Because you would assume that would be like a brand of Australian beer. Do you want a tinny?
Well, exactly. So maybe they are under the radar doing some subliminal stuff. I don't know, but it is causing lots of controversy. So don't be surprised to hear more about it popping up.
What do you think of that, folks? If you want cancelled, put a comment in here below.
Yep. Right.
Now, Crawley Distillery.
Over to the homeland. Yes, I've just seen James popping up. He's saying filling casks today. And we're doing more Donegal cask filling down at Crawley. Now, we'll get to James in a wee minute. Now, the Crawley Distillery this week announced that they were filling their first pot still casks this week. So congratulations all round, well done. However, a few weeks ago, they marked the end. Right, a few weeks ago, they marked the end of the Founding Fathers casks, and they brought this up. And this couple here, this is Anna Friel and Alan Mackay, who are from Scotland, living in Scotland. But Anna's grandmother used to work in the Crawley factory. And tradition was that when a girl who worked in the Crawley factory was getting married, she came down in and everybody congratulated her and so on. So what this pair have done, and I think this is class, I think this is a brilliant idea, is to fill the last of the founders' casks on the day they get married. They didn't get married in the distillery; they got married in a church and then come up. But I think that's a brilliant idea.
That's just pretty cool looking, actually.
It is. It looks cool, and good on them. I hope it all goes well. Anna Friel sounds like the actress, but she's a member actually of the Friel sisters, who are that's like a Scottish traditional band. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to Crawley. Congratulations to the happy couple. I hope everything goes well to them. Chin chin.
Lovely stuff. On the show this week, we've got the Whiskey Companion, Carl, standing by, and we visit Emmerdale Farm as well this week.
Oh yes, Justin and his Emmerdale Farm reference. Wait to see it, folks. We did an interview. Wait to see it. Now, Waterford. We're going down to Waterford this week. Named their Grower of the Year. This is because they do the individual farms. What they do the individual farms and individual growers and stuff. Every year now they're going to announce their Grower of the Year, and this year it was Robert Milne, who grew the Ballymorgan barley for the bottles. So yeah, congratulations to him. More round of applause. It looked like a pretty decent night out. I think they were down. I don't know about COVID restrictions. Don't know about
obviously Waterford Crystal glass.
I should imagine, yes. They went down, and so they're growers. It's nice to see them getting recognition on a number of different fronts. So yeah,
and you were lucky enough to give me a drop of that organic stuff. And
no, this is not organic. This is biodynamic.
Biodynamic,
which is like organic on stilts, on steroids. Stilts on steroids.
It was something else. There were still workers down there tonight walking around the castle, flamethrowers and people like that, you know.
And
you maybe didn't see them. You maybe didn't see them in the video, you know.
And did they not burn the stilts?
No, there were flamethrowers and stuff like that. It was quite good.
Now, I've done a review of the biodynamic. I've done a review for video YouTube and also one for the paper not this Sunday, but next. I'm really impressed with this. I think this is, for a whiskey that's that young, it's got bags of flavour, and good on them. It's pretty
Very,
favourable
very
review.
impressive. And there you go. There's James Murray. I don't think you can say steroids for biodynamic. You'll get blocked. Yeah, we probably would get blocked.
All right.
Natural enzymes.
Are you allowed to say? I don't know. It's organic on horns filled with manure.
Yeah,
that might do it. I don't know. But they
or
do a whole,
an agronomist.
an agronomist. I still can't say it. Crop walkers. But no, as I say, it's tasty stuff. It definitely is. So yeah. Anyway,
really good.
Really good.
Where are we heading next this week?
We're heading to. We're going to say about Beam Suntory and Suntory Holdings are launching a new peatland water sanctuary initiative. They're thumping up $4 million to work on 1,300 hectares in different places across Scotland to protect peatlands and offset. They want to, by 2030, be growing as much peat as the company uses, and by 2040 to be producing twice as much peat as the company uses. Now, you know that I've said this all the time. I keep saying that in terms of the environmental stuff, the only people that are really going to fix it is companies. And when they have incentives to do it, when they can make it sustainable, pragmatic, and profitable, it's a no-brainer. So I don't know why anybody's looking at anybody else. I know governments will have to lead the way, but it's the companies that will end up doing it all. And so they're going to start on Islay, where they own Bowmore and Lefroig. So two P's. So it's no surprise that they're going to start there. So they own teachers as well. So it's nice that they're going to do this, and more power to them.
It is. It's really, really good that they're doing that. As you said, it's businesses at the forefront without being forced.
I think it's. I think if it's led by the public, buyers and pressure from that, you have incentives from governments and help to do it, and it's pragmatic, and it's sustainable, and it's profitable. It's a no-brainer, and if you're going to fix all these problems, that's the way you do it. It's not gluing yourself to a bit of tarmac, where you annoy people. Just
no. No, it's 10:20. Make sure you comment, like, and share, and tell your friends. Carter from Whiskey Companions on the way, and
yes.
Now
we're not. Last, we have to go to President Joe Biden, and the Pope, because the two of them met today, and President Biden, gave the Pope a command coin, which it's got a presidential seal on it, but this is a bit different because on the back of it, it has the state of Delaware and the 21st, the unit that President Biden's son served in. So you could tell when he was handing it over, it meant a lot to him. But what he said, tradition says if I meet you again and you don't have the coin, you have to buy the drinks. But I'm the only Irishman you've ever met who doesn't drink. And the Pope came back with something, which I thought, do you remember he said about, he raised a glass of whiskey and he says, oh, the real holy water. Well, you can get, I think he kind of likes whiskey, does the Pope? So if you want to play the video, we see his face.
This United States appropriate.
Well, you're going to skip forward a bit.
So I am.
Mm-hmm.
On the back of it, I have the state of Delaware, the 261st unit my son served with.
E so che mio figlio sarebbe contento che gli do questo perché non c'è l'immagine della Casa Bianca ma dello
Now
Stato
the
di
tradition
Delaware.
is,
E la tradizione
and
è,
I'm only kidding about this,
e scherzo,
if next time I see you,
la
you don't
prossima
have it,
volta Se lei non la
You
vedo
have to
non
buy
ce
the
l'ha,
drinks.
allora lei deve offrirmi da bere.
Now, I'm the only Irishman you've ever met who's never had a drink.
Ma io sono l'unico irlandese che lei conosce che non ha mai bevuto in vita sua.
Perché gli irlandesi hanno portato il whisky.
Whisky.
I know that.
You just say him. He just. I can't speak Italian, but I know exactly what he was saying there. You know.
He just give him a bottle of whiskey or something.
No, he just says, "But the Irish give us whiskey." You know.
I know.
So
I have to laugh. So somebody, when they seen that picture posted up, they says, "Have you seen the light?"
no.
There we go.
It's excellent stuff. Excellent stuff. So now that's the news for this week. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Oh,
Shall we let him in?
Mum, bring him on.
You're in the room, Card. Good evening.
Evening, lads. Good
How
to
are
be
you,
here.
buddy?
I'm good. Good. How are you?
Not too bad. You're looking well. Sure, that's the main thing.
Thanks, you too.
Now, give us a roundup of what's been going on in the auction sites, because there's some very strange stuff that's going on.
There really has. So over the last month, there's been just under 12,000 lots that went around, with a gross volume of 3.13 million and an average price of 282 euros.
Well,
So quite nice. A little bit higher on the average side than it has been in previous times. And just by way of measuring the different bottles that are being bought and sold at the same time, I thought it was interesting. You know, in the top 10, Middleton Very Rare 2021 comes in at number 7, and that's been traded 34 times in the last month. Above that, there's 4 scotches, Ardbeg Macallan ×2, and Glenatchie, and a Blanton's as well, Blanton's Gold Edition. That's number 3 rated. So that just kind of gives you an idea of you know what's being traded and how much is being traded.
yeah.
So there's a couple that I picked out that I wanted to go through, and as you can see on the right here, this is the Waterford Blood Brothers. So this was an exclusive bottle from the Friends of Waterford distillery page, the Facebook page. So it was only open to members of the group, and even then it was a subset of that group that got these bottles. There was a couple of people who could buy 2, some could buy 1, depending on just kind of how you got in. So it was, I think it was €90 or €95 to buy the bottle, and not long after it was in people's hands did we see it at auction.
Kill surprise.
Yeah. Exactly. So you know, not a lot of people are very happy about this, but I mean, there has been 11 sales in the last month of the Blood Brothers. The highest one was the first one, which is generally the case, and that went for €750 on Katawiki, the European auction. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And a flood of them went to Irish whiskey auctions and whiskey bidders, as you can see in the bottom left there. So on average, it's gone for €470, with the minimum price being 411. So it's not a lot of people happy with this, but it's
No, I can't imagine.
impressive.
To be honest, I've been saying I've been trying this biodynamic from Waterford, and to be honest, a lot of what they're doing is really, really good. I have to say it is. There's a lot to like about what Waterford's doing, but I can see how they piss people off, if I'm totally honest.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, especially for a group bottling, like this is specifically for people of the Facebook group. So
is this specific to Waterford, this sort of price variation?
It's not really. So in the last kind of month or two, we've seen Waterford actually gain traction again. So in the last 6 to 9 months, you could pick up a lot of Waterford for under retail. They'd pushed so many bottles for the single farm origin. People just kind of lost interest. The likes of the cuvées. So this is what's called a micro cuvée. So it's 1,500 bottles to 2,000 bottles thereabouts generally. And this is one of the micro cuvées. So I think a lot of people are moving towards collecting the micro cuvées and going that direction. And you see it in the prices there that it is kind of going above retail immediately because they do sell out.
I personally think they've just decided there's nobody's going to be fit to collect our stuff because we've got so much of it. We want to pump it out, different versions, and anybody wants to collect it.
Good luck to you.
You've obviously got very deep pockets, but fair play to them. They want people to drink their stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had their D cuvée, like the penultimate cuvée.
Yeah,
and I have to say, very very impressed with it.
Well, I haven't managed to get my hands on it, but I haven't really. I should have made more of an effort, but I've been sort of caught up by a few other bits and pieces. I haven't actually got my hands on a bottle of it, but I will eventually, and I'm really looking forward to it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's really really good. I'd very much recommend it.
Yeah. Good. I'll get back to you on that as soon as I get my hands on a bottle.
Sounds good.
So, are we going to shed tears here? It doesn't look like it.
Some people might shed tears in this one. Yeah, this was just bonkers. I was gobsmacked when I saw the final hammer price on this. Yeah, so this is the Riders Tears Cast Strength 2015 edition. So Riders Tears, it's a sourced whiskey from Middleton. They release this cast strength edition every year, in limited quantities. So in this case, this was 2,100 bottles. Usually, when they say 2,100 bottles, it's 2,100 bottles for Ireland, and then possibly 2,100 for America or the rest of the world. So again, like 4,000 bottles is not a lot. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
But this was last sold on any auction site in October 2020, so it was a year nearly to the date. And it went for €270. And then it came around this time, Writer's Tears generally don't go too much over 200 thereabouts. There's been a couple of anomalies, but this one just skyrocketed to 1,160.
So, what you're saying is sometimes rationing sometimes helps the price then? Is that it? Yep.
Absolutely. So a lot of people have been talking about Writer's Tears Cast Strength and how people should be starting to collect it because it has all of the makings of the attributes of a collectible whiskey, and I think people are starting to actually go for it and collect backwards. So
Carl, there's Graham Horner saying they're throwing too much too soon, puts me off the Waterford a bit.
Yeah, that's I think that a lot of people share that attitude. Generally it comes from a collector's point of view, that they want to collect everything, or they want to collect a certain thing because they like the brand, and they're not happy that they can't buy everything because it's just too much money up front too soon. So like I completely understand that. And then on the flip side, you have
drinkers
who don't want to see collectors doing anything, and they're delighted that Waterford are doing this. So.
I sort of see it both ways, if I'm totally honest. I think Waterford are generally what they call disruptors. They just want to shake things up and do stuff in some ways just to piss people off, and you can see it just translates through. And there's a fair bit of me thinks, dead on, fair. Even if it annoys me, I think, well, fair enough. At least it's doing something for me,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do they say? No press or bad press is good press.
All press is good press.
All press is good press. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fair enough in many ways. I still think what they're bringing out is really good quality. This biodynamic, just bang on about this again. See if you put in the terroir code in this, the casks that they're aging this in, the red wine, the French, the French premium, it's actually Chateau Lafite casks.
Yep,
Now,
very expensive.
how much are they paying for those? I mean,
Yeah.
bloody hell! I mean, anybody that's anybody that's what talking about expensive casks. I don't know what you'd pay for a shallow feed cask.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's mind-boggling, but
mind-boggling. But there you go.
they're doing it right. But
They are, yeah.
I just saw Kit there saying it's Cologne's job to be the disruptors.
No,
And,
it's Cologne's job to disrupt the upper end. You know, them what's in control. Warner's just pissing off everybody, even their customers.
like, I'm drinking the rum and raisin batch 1, and
Yes.
like
Very nice.
again, that was another one that went crazy for the first month or two. But I was looking at the auction, and funnily enough, the dark Tumper or the Tumper dark rum was the one that was kind of up there with the prices. So it was over €100 for the Cologne dark rum. So I mean, that's one to watch as well. If they, I know they just brought out a peated one. So
I also sold out dead quick, but a peated rum, I don't know.
don't knock it till you try it.
You're not going to try it, you know. But
Yeah,
it
the
sounds
jury's out until we actually try it, Marty,
Exactly.
isn't it? Well, you know,
absolutely. I do like a bit of peat, but peated rum. We'll try it and see when we get a time.
big hitter time now. Middleton, very rare.
Yeah. So this one I had to put it in. So this was all of the collection bar 1989 that was up for sale, individual bottles up for sale on Irish whiskey auctions. Now, there is a caveat to this, that the 88 was a low fill level, so it was a shoulder fill level. So I think that definitely, hit the price. Even though it hit 16,500, I think it did hit the price. I think it probably would have went for over 20, maybe even 25 if it was full bottle. But this just goes to show you like how Middleton madness is still running. So I did take the last 89 value, which is from last month's Irish whiskey auctions, and that was a pristine bottle, perfect condition, brilliant fill level, and that went for €7,500. That is not included in the prices that are beside it. That is X 1989. So you're going to add €7,500 onto each of those prices, and that's your full collection for Middleton Very Rare. So if you got them at the very minimum prices, so that's the lowest price for each bottle on Irish whiskey auctions, you'd be paying 59,336. So Justin, I know you were looking for a Christmas present for Martin.
Come on.
It's a cool 60 grand that you have to spend.
Listen, he has it. Trust me, he has it.
But yeah, on average, it was just over 60,000. And if you were unlucky enough to go for the highest price bottle, you can add another 1,000 onto that. So, it's an expensive hobby that we have here.
Yes, but worthwhile. Not whenever you buy art, you can't get drunk with it.
Oh, you can't. No, you can't eat it.
You can't eat it. You can't drink it.
Won't give you any sustenance.
No. Well, no.
So I thought we had to go over that and just have a look. I think it was one of the first auctions in 6 to 9 months that had each bottle available in it. So
I think there's a little bit of strange stuff happening at the top end of the market. I think people are maybe a bit jittery. At the bottom end of the market, it seems to be very sort of hectic. So I don't know. Maybe it's the time of year. Maybe it's just with so much stuff coming out recently that people maybe are buying. Dunvilles have released. I don't know many single casks over the last 2 months. So maybe people are buying those or thinking, well, I'm not going to spend 1,000 on a bottle when I need to collect these or whatever. So it's hard to know exactly the dynamics, but there's sort of a bit of strange movement, and hopefully it settles and gives people a bit more clarity very shortly.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, like as you say, the likes of all of the releases coming out at once. I know I heard some producers saying that they were waiting on bottles, and that was the kind of the bottleneck that they had.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun, but they've obviously sorted that now after COVID and the Suez Canal, and that seems to be, opening up a lot more releases. So it could be down to that's why there's so many releases coming out all at once. And also just the end of COVID, people are able to go out and spend their money.
Exactly. It's for all the furlough money that they weren't spending.
Yeah, we didn't get any of that back in Ireland.
No, I certainly didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, no.
James Doherty's asking, have any barrels showed up on an auction site recently?
So there was one barrel up on Celtic last month. I did mention it in the review. It was the first one in an Irish auction. It sold, I think it was €8,000, thereabouts. And that was the first one in an Irish auction. The UK auction sites have barrels nearly every month. So I think Whiskey Hammer and the Grand Whiskey Auction, they had a couple this month. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a wee bit distracted here. I'm just checking something because I had to check something there because it's important to get before the end of the show. But no, it's a cask barrel, like buying casks and so on. It's a bit of a minefield too, because there's, depending on where you buy it and how you're going to use it, can be extremely expensive, no matter what cask you're going to buy. And I'm not talking about just buying the cask; it's all the ancillary stuff you have to pay for.
That's really true. Yeah, like it's a strange one, especially if you're a producer. I don't know how it would work with the bond.
Yeah.
If you can just
I know. If you haven't paid prepaid, you have to pay for the bottling. You have to pay for the labeling and so on and so forth. If you're taking it to sell it yourself, you need a whole range of
hidden
licenses.
costs, really, isn't there?
Well, it depends what you're going to do with it. It's not to say it's not worthwhile doing, because you've seen how much some of the casks go for.
Yeah.
There are companies that will buy casks off you, but it might not be as good an investment as you would think. But then again, it may very well be. Same as everything else, Alternative investments are available, folks. Just in case you're wondering. Your money may go up as well as down.
Exactly. Invest responsibly.
Yes, invest responsibly. But another roundup of what's been going on. I'm glad to see the writer's tears, because I have been saying about this for quite a period of time. I do think it was about time. I didn't think one would shoot up just as much as that, as quickly as that. I thought they would probably all go up, but I think maybe the fact that one of them has went up will maybe carry the rest of them up a bit.
It's quite possible. I think it probably will spur them on. I think you'll probably see 2 or 3 2015s come up now in the next auction.
I would have thought
next month you'll see them go to auction, and that'll probably settle it down and put it at a more manageable level, maybe €700-800, if there really is the demand there for it. But
it'll be interesting to see. But I've been saying for a while it's one to watch. So good on them. Good on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. All the best.
All right, Carl.
Thanks very much, lads. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Catch you another couple of weeks.
Stay safe, brother.
Bye. Now, have you a surprise to tell everybody tonight?
Well, what I'm going to do first is, some people have already said they've got their bottle. So have I. My caster, and I haven't opened this yet. Now, this, as we know, as James explained to us last week, was a bit of a shocker and a bit of a surprise to even the people that work there, because he just decided that once he had his stills up and running, that he would bring out one of these and do a bit of a shock. So I'm opening my cask strength, and I'm always amazed at the cask strength. When he says cask strength, he's not joking. It's 64.5%. Yeah. So we're going to have that's my first tasting of this. I'll let it sit for a second, and we're going to make a little announcement, because our much anticipated trip away is now going to be a thing. Yay!
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a run to Donegal. We're going to take a run down, a little trip down to see James at his new distillery down in Ardra. Now, it's going to be the third Saturday in November, the 20th of November.
Yeah.
So, if you're wishing to go, I know some people have already prepaid. If you're wishing to go, get in contact with us after the show and we'll sort out arrangements. We haven't really sorted out what all's going to happen. But what we'll do is we'll go down that day, we'll meet up with James and we'll get to see the distillery. And so, if you wish to join us, feel free to come down.
Numbers are strictly limited, and the easiest way to make sure that you're going is become a member on buymeacoffee.com/Irish whiskey. Simple as that. We've already touched base with some people because there are about a dozen or so supporters on there, and Frank Hearn has said brilliant. He's in because I think it clashed with Frank's birthday or something like that. There, I thought he would want to go if it was his birthday or something like that, but his birthday's early. I'm maybe getting confused with somebody else, but I think I'm pretty sure Frank had a birthday. But yes, glad to finally see. Yep, Kit Charles is saying, "See you, Nancy's." Glad to finally see.
Brilliant.
It is going off. You will need things with you like your little cards of inoculation and stuff like that.
Or the COVID police will arrest us and put us in solitary confinement.
And you will have to wear masks as well, stuff like that on the bus.
And what we'll have is we'll have a day out. We'll get to meet some of you. I know we've met most of you in person before, but we'll actually get to meet you all properly and have a bit of a laugh and a giggle. Yeah. We'll get a drink and so on.
And it's fantastic because we didn't really want it to linger into 2022, so because we didn't think it would be this long, but thankfully it's.
We didn't think COVID was going to take this long, but
I did. I knew it was going to last.
Here we go. Mystic Justin, Mystic
Meg. I look like Mystic Meg. Look like Saturday the 20th.
You look like a crystal ball.
How can you see? I couldn't
resist that, buddy. I couldn't resist.
I know. Don't worry. That's pretty good. I just can't get rid of that shine in the top of my head, actually. I need a higher ceiling to get the lights higher up so I don't get the shine. There you go. That's what's happening. So this is where we're going, isn't it? I can't wait. That's where we're going
to go down to Ardra. So we'll be leaving Belfast. They'll be leaving Belfast to head down to Ardra. That's the plan.
Yeah,
and we'll sort out times and dates. And anybody who's not already a member, join up at buymeacoffee.com/Irish Whiskey Review, and we'll get you sorted out to come down with us.
There you go.
Yeah, listen to me and Justin.
I know.
Mainly Justin.
We won't be talking very much. I think we'll be drinking. You're not allowed to drink in the bus, but obviously. But there you go. That's where we're going. In the meantime. It's intermission time, and we're heading off. And well, you'll see when we hit playing this. Will you hear this? Have you seen Emmerdale this week?
No.
My God, the rope bridge has collapsed. It's fantastic. And we'll get to meet one of the Dingles tonight. Graham Dingle's on with us.
Right. That's not his real name, Justin. It's not his real name. No. It's a pseudonym. It's like a nickname. It's a Twitter handle because he's very active on Twitter.
I think the last time I ever saw Emmerdale was, I think Seth and Amos were in the bar.
for our people listening in the States and further afield, Emmerdale is a soap opera that's been running on British TV for must be about 350 years now. And about 20 years ago, they decided to sex it up a bit. So all of the cast went from being long bearded whiskers and talking about sheep to being sort of young, sexy 20-year-olds who run about talking about shagging each other, essentially. So you might want to watch it again, Graham. So
Yeah,
we are
I prefer it when the sheep were in it.
I'm not sure what that says about you, big man. Now, we're joined by Graham Cole from Dingle. Now,
Cheers.
hang on, I haven't even poured myself in. Well, I poured myself a Guinness. I always like this to lubricate myself. There's a what?
I tried to get his batch 6 and I couldn't get any of it.
Hang on. Don't jump the gun, Just. Don't jump the gun here.
All
now,
right.
the reason we're joined with Graham is you've just released your batch 6 of, I have batch 5 and 4 here. And batch 6 is the last of the batches, correct?
That is correct. That's a true story.
Now, this has sort of come as a little bit of a surprise to a few people. I think because it had never been said that there was going to be a sort of termination point of the batches. So, what is it? Why did you decide to give it the chop now?
Yeah, I think lots of reasons, I suppose. But so deep down, when do you stop a batch series? Who knows? You know, there's no rules to it and no laws to it. But you know, we were merrily going along, and when I arrived, batch 5 was then released, and you know, at that point we were still, you know, thinking about batch releases. But you know, in the interim, we've moved and released what we call a permanent expression. The Dingle single malt was released earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's become a kind of core expression, available all year round. Hopefully fairly widely. You know, there's a bit more stock of that or volume of that available. So that put a line in the sand, really. And then it was a case of well, obviously we're not just going to sell one whiskey or one single malt variant. Where, you know, we do have other whiskies in the warehouse or spirit in the warehouse maturing. So I think it was looking at that, and you know, I think just almost to make them a bit more flexible, because they will flex in quantity. The limited editions will flex in quantity and also in possibly alcoholic strength and so on and so forth, and packaging possibly. So yeah, it was just a case to draw a line and probably put those collectors out of their misery so that they could actually go and relax for a while and maybe enjoy their lives instead.
Graham, you must be the only distillery that's doing this, putting collectors out of their misery, because every other one seems to be putting more and more misery on them.
It's probably we've had our good run on it, let's say. So there's lots of new entrants coming in, and you know, it's nice for them to have their moment of fame as well when they come on the scene. So
their day in the sun.
Yeah, definitely.
I've just poured myself batch 5 in honor of your arrival at Dingle, because as you say, that was the one. Now
that was a COVID baby whiskey. That one, that was
a COVID baby.
We launched it and COVID struck, so it seems a long time ago, but it's not.
It does seem a long time ago, but as you say, it's not. I just wonder, has the birth rate started to shoot up now that COVID is down the line? Just never mentioned that. I must look that up.
It actually went the other way, Marty. But listen, from a marketing point of view, you must. From a marketing point of view, Graham, you must have something up your sleeve here now that you've come to the end of the batch series. You must have something fantastic up your sleeve, sitting in a filing cabinet over to your left there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. It's more just we're evolving. You know, we've got the core release there now, so that's something to hang our hat on, and you know, people are enjoying that. And to be fair, it's out there at a lower price than the batch releases were. So hopefully there's something to appeal there to you know, to maybe a different audience that would have tried Dingle. So no, for me it's more just continuing the same. But you know, yeah, maybe kind of making it, not sexing it up. That's probably the wrong word. But you know, bringing some Dingle expressions out there that are a little bit different. You know, everything up till now has been full maturation and generally a combination of different cask types mixed together. Batch 6 goes against that. It's actually one single cask type, but
it's a full tawny port, isn't it?
Full tawny port, nothing else added to it. So it's a chance to see Dingle in one, you know, in one form really. And that's something you'll see more of, because the spirit's becoming older, and you know, it'd be nice to see Dingle just purely in an ex-bourbon cask, or probably possibly an Oloroso. So you'll start to see more of that, and you'll start to see the things that I've been dabbling in as well, which are bringing in a few different cask types to either fully mature in or finish in. So you'll see Dingle as a finish rather than a full maturation as well. So
now yourself, yourself, your background, obviously you've got a Scottish twang, more of a Caledonian twang to your accent there. Now, what is your background personally?
It goes back almost to the beginning of Emmerdale, I think. We started at the same time. 1994, back at Glenfiddich at William Grant's up in Dufftown.
Yeah. So
I worked with them in the bottling side to begin with, and then moved across to distillation. And in my time there, I took over the distillation at Balvenie and Kininvie as well, the 3 distilleries on the side, plus the floor maltings. So that was a very good grounding in all things distilling. And then I moved across to Glen Murray again in Speyside, but slightly further north.
Yeah.
And that was in 2005, and spent 14 years there, and you know, watched not only the distillery grow. You know, we added additional capacity. It trebled in capacity when I was there, and also the range of Glenmurrays available. Well, more than trebled. You know, we went from only 3 expressions at the beginning to left there was well into double figures. So it was nice. You know, it was nice to see the brand and the distillery grow at the same time.
Yeah. By the way, Balvenie is one of my favourite scotches. I think it's just, I've never had a bad one. I think they're all superb. Just as a slight aside. Now,
no, it's a good whiskey, and it's a spirit that works in lots of different cask types. And I think that's you know, I've been lucky to work in distilleries that do marry with the wood very well. You know, Balvenie is very good. Glen Murray again was good. It worked in port and sherry, and bourbon, and hopefully now you're beginning to see that Dingle is working in different cask types. You know, it's got enough character to hold up on its own.
I thought there's no two ways about the fact that Dingle were really the first of its kind in Ireland back in 2013, and they've come on in leaps and bounds. But in terms, you mentioned there about up in the production in Glen Murray. Dingle's not massive production. What's your production capacity just at the minute?
No, Dingle is not big in any shape or form. Comparing it to you know,
comparing Balvenie.
It's 100 times smaller actually than that site. 30 times smaller than Glen Murray. So that puts it in perspective.
100 times.
But when you look at Glen Murray, look at Glenfiddich, Balvenie, you know, a reasonable chunk of their production is heading into blended whiskies. So when you factor or look into the single malt side or then it's not quite such a leap or a drop back in. But no, it's small and you know, we are looking at at putting in additional capacity, hopefully building that in next year to go a bit
Excellent.
more.
As soon as next year.
Well, hopefully the work will start next year for it to come into fruition the following year, and to upgrade our visitor facility at the same time. So we're really future-proofing the fabric of the distillery in terms of production and also a visitor experience, because Dingle is a popular place, and we'll get visitors at the distillery who are, whiskey wouldn't be their first, or their main hobby or anything like that. So we're trying to build an experience to cater for all levels of interest.
Yeah, bring people in and maybe get some new converts.
Exactly. You always love to. You always have memories of where you taste a drink, especially if it's at the source.
Yeah, I think another thing is, a lot of people say they don't like, I can't drink whiskey or don't drink whiskey, but there's such a range of spirit in whiskey that there's always going to be one you can take, one that does appeal to you, and just a matter of finding the right one. And then the rest of them kind of, I was like that with red wine. Couldn't drink red wine then. I was out with a French guy one night, and I thought it was really nice. And basically after that, I was able to, oh yeah, I'm working away. So good luck with the visitor experience now.
Yeah, I know, and it's a big step for us, especially coming out of where we are. Who knows what the visitor experience will be, but it's a sign of obviously Dingle is family owned, family run, so they can afford to take a longer term view on things and work for the future. And that's one thing I've been lucky to work for, even both at Glenmurray and also at Glenfiddich. Although they're huge companies and huge distilleries, they've been family run. So that long term view and not having to please the shareholders in a short term vision, that's what you need for whiskey, because it's as we know, the whiskey will be around a lot longer than we are.
Well, exactly. Now you have your core expression out now. How's it going? It's been well received. Is it entering new markets that possibly with the batches you weren't actually able to target? Because I mean, the batches are fairly large, but they're not massive. They're not big. They're big in terms of in relation to the single cask, but they're not massive amounts.
No, they're not. They're not big. As you got to batch 5, it became quite chunky in terms of volume. But unfortunately, when they're gone, they're gone, and that's not an easy sell to some countries and some distributors. It's they want continuity of supply, and they don't want to chop and change. Yeah, because every new batch is a new variant to them, and it's all the hassle of setting that up in the supply chain. So the core has allowed us to tap into markets that we wouldn't have been able to before, because we know the volume that we can sell. It's still limited. It's not by any means we can sell everything that we'd want to, but it does mean we can choose which markets to go into and build up relationships with the distributors in those markets. So
now, batch 6, Old Tawny port finished. Now there is batch 4 as a port cask. Is it the same port casks? These
pretty much. Yeah, it's from the same batch, really, from the same parcel of casks. And that's kind of the beauty of the batches as well. And probably another reason why it's nice to draw a line now, because they were a journey through time for Dingle, and you could taste Dingle. You could almost taste Dingle as it was growing older and maturing. So it was nice to follow that journey, but at some point you want to kind of break that sequence and just delve into something completely different. So the full maturation tawny was a nice way to draw the end of it, because most of the previous batches had been a bourbon and sherry combination. There was a little port in in batch 3. So it has featured, but in much smaller percentages and not on its own.
Yeah. So out of the 6 now, what one do you prefer? Batch 6.
That's like how if you've had asking a question, if you've got 6 children, which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
They all have their moments. My honest answer to that is I would say batches 1, 2, and 3 were obviously very young, relatively young, or very young, depending on what how you look at it. So I think it's unfair to compare them with batches 4, 5, and 6. So So I think and I wouldn't have a favourite because they're completely different in makeup and composition, and it's quite nice. Some people, I still see some people who prefer batch 4 or prefer batch 4 to batch 5. Batch 6 hasn't been out that long, so it's difficult to see in comparison, and it's quite different from the others. So I would expect people to either prefer it or not. So I think I think again, you probably prefer the most recent whiskey that you've released because that's the one you've been working on.
Yeah, that's the one that's always contemporary. It's always in your head and fresh. You mentioned earlier on about changing. You said something about changing packaging or something. Don't change it too much because there's absolutely nothing wrong. This is cool packaging.
Well, there was a fair change from the batches to the Dingle single malt. We went from the very light label to a blue label and blue tube.
Yeah.
So it stands out. So no, there'll be nothing radical. The bottle and the cork are here to stay for a while. I've got over 100,000 of each one. So
yeah, so it's going over for a long time.
We'll tinker with the look of the label, depending on what it is, and maybe the color of the capsule and stuff like that. So maybe the package as well. But no, not always necessary to have a tube. In this day and age, you are conscious of your packaging as well. So
now you've a big fan. If he watches our show for all the time, and Vic Cameron, he's a big fan of yours. When we mentioned about that's just a long time ago. I suppose that must be about a year ago. We mentioned to Vic about Graham. We managed to poach Graham over, and he was so complimentary about you. He said, Ireland's got one of the best. Ireland's got one of the best distillers from Scotland.
No, Vic's a good lad. We go a long way back. We worked together on Saturday or weekend jobs at school, so that we're a very similar age. We went to the same school, and I'd pay a compliment back to him. He's got a vast knowledge, very broad knowledge of whiskey. He's spent a lot of time in the maltings, so he knows whiskey from the ground up. So he's created a great niche for himself in kind of consultancy and teaching. So he's become a natural at that. It's very good. So two boys from the same little village almost going.
I mean, it's a nice connection that we have. Now, I was talking last week about the fact that I was in Edinburgh and I was on the Royal Mile. And there's all the whiskey shops on the Royal Mile. And I walked into one and saw two bottles of Poaching. And basically the heart of Scotch whiskey. There's lots and lots of tourists, and here it was. Now, we're selling Poaching over there. Obviously, we've been selling Scotch for a very, very long time, and we've got Scottish distillers and everything over here now in Ireland. So, this tie-up, do you see these sort of healthy rivalries and more connections and, decent distribution between Scotland and Ireland and stuff happening maybe a bit more?
Oh, I think so. I think Ireland's got a lot of catching up to do in terms of variety and choice. It's been very limited up to now, but give it another 5 years, and even now you're struggling to remember how many distilleries there are in Ireland and which ones they are. So it's going to become much more complex, and I think you're also going to find a lot of distilleries in Ireland making whiskey in different ways. You know, it won't always be triple distilled. It
Yeah.
won't always be non-peated. So I think you're going to have much more crossover in styles between Irish and Scotch whiskey, and it will become more difficult to regionalize or compartmentalize the two countries in what they produce.
Yeah. And do you see pot still? I mean, now that you've been able to get your hands on pot still, I know this was one of your sort of reasons for coming to Ireland in many ways, was you could get your hands on pot still. I mean, the widening of the technical file, is that even a bigger landscape for you, bigger canvas for you, maybe is a better way of putting it?
Yeah, I think it is. It definitely is. You know, I don't think at Dingle we'll go to the ends of the earth to experiment, but it gives you a bit more freedom to, you know, to play with your recipe and add in and see what effect. You know, the 5% rule on other grains was just, it was such a negligible amount. You would struggle to detect the impact, I would say. But you know, once you get up to 30%, then you're into a different ball game. And pot still is, for Ireland, that has to be their gold ticket almost. You know, if we can educate the whiskey consumer as to what pot still is, then we're all the way.
Yep, I absolutely. Now, batch 6 is available in just the usual suspect retailers.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, usual outlets. You know, it's trickling out there. We launched it probably 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So you know, the orders are in, but some of the bigger chains it takes a little bit of time to find it on their shelves. But definitely your local off license should definitely have it, or if they don't have it, then make sure you ask for it.
Ask for it. Now, Dingle have been really clever at this with the batches up to now, where they have released the I say the ordinary version, but so they're always 46.5%, and the cask strength brother to go along with them. You're mentioning about some of the new stuff. Is that going to continue if you release a new expression? Is there going to be a cask strength version come along with it?
I think what you might see is some form of compromise, because the cask strength, you know, it was nice to offer the two, but we always get a lot of stick that there was never enough cask strength around, and you know, you're always upsetting somebody that couldn't get. And again, it fell into the danger zone of being too collectible and not enough of it being open. So we're thinking with the new releases that are more limited in numbers that we'll probably release at a higher strength, but it would be one single strength. So it'll be somewhere in between the cask strength and the 46, which is, you know, a nice place to be, I think.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, for the collectors, the cask strength ones are really the ones that are going to want to be getting their hands on. I can see Anthony at Irish Whiskey Auctions going, happy days.
I know. I can't. Yeah, I've probably doubled the value of them overnight.
Yeah, right. Before we
I'm already on it.
Justin, get on the auction site now, son.
I'm working on it now. I'm not really here. This is a different picture of me.
Right, Graham, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you as always. And I'll just have another wee glass of the batch 5. And listen, all the very best. Keep up the polls, by the way, on Twitter. If anybody doesn't follow Graham, get on to Graham's Twitter page where he has a poll. Pretty much, you have a couple every week, really.
Saturday morning is usually the time. That appeals to the people who have nothing better to do than Saturday.
Well, as if by magic, they've just appeared on the screen beneath us here. They're appearing beneath us here. There you go.
As I say, keep up the good work and more power to you. And hopefully all the tourism stuff all starts coming down. And with your new visitor experience and stuff opening up in a couple of years' time, the Dingle's success just carry on the way it has been, because it's a huge success. And a round of applause for everybody involved.
Yeah, no, and raise a glass to everybody at Dingle and everybody who supports Dingle, because Dingle wouldn't be here without some real characters that have helped get it there.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, more power to you, Graham. Thanks very much. Take care.
Thank
Well, what about
Well,
that then?
there we go. So anybody that's got cast strength dingles, there we go. Exclusive. There won't be any more of them.
We'll be analysing them on the whiskey companion in 6
Yes.
weeks' time.
we should have told Carl, but we didn't. But no, I never say never. But there's it's interesting that he says that they're probably going to release higher than 46, but not cast strength, or yeah. So be interesting to see. Interesting to see.
All right. Well, people have been going mad because they couldn't get on there. I checked it out. I got the 404 error message as well myself. I think maybe too many people tried to get on it at once or something like that there. It could have been that because it is working now. Peter Stewart said, System Error won't be let buy a beer at the moment, but he's managed to sign up. Here's how you do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. Saturday the 20th of November, we're heading where, Marty?
We are heading to Ardra, to the producers of the Silky, where the new distillery is there, to go and meet James and have a chat. We'll have a drink. We shall eat, drink, and be merry. Although we don't provide food or booze.
No,
because we're not allowed to.
No. This is how it works. This is all you need to do. If you go on there, you can see how it works. It's dead simple. You go on membership. If you can see membership, can you? Yes, you can. It's changed over to membership. I'll scroll it up a bit and then like this here. And then you hit membership, join, and kick that there. And then that pays for your trip. No problem. And you also get exclusive access to other things as well, because we've been sending out to members some nice stuff over the year, haven't we, Marty?
Yeah, we've sent stuff out. Yeah, guys, going forward, we've never really monetized any of this stuff. We've been doing it for free for a very long time, and we kind of want to keep it as much as that as possible. And that's why we want to do these things. We want to do them as a family, you know. But going forward, who knows? We might try and get some
not getting the arm in, but freemium, as they like to say. So,
yeah. Well, the thing is, we're neither you nor I are in this to make any money, so we'll see what happens.
Will Amazon TV come and we replace the hairy bikers? I'm fine with that.
Oh, so am I.
I'll grow a beard.
I'll not grow a beard, but I might get fat. Well, I'm heading that way anyway. But
no, I am fat anyway, so don't worry. I'll probably get thin.
Both of us.
I'll probably get thin. Yeah. There's everybody saying Andrew Shuki saying he was lucky to get 2 bottles of the CS batch. We tried, we didn't manage it. Trevor Watson saying thanks for the show.
Oh, I noticed Big Dave's comment there where he said that Graham's old enough to dye his hair. But surely if he's a whiskey distiller, you're colouring your hair. It has to be E150A. You have to be a ginger, surely.
I've seen that. Can I read out what you typed in? Because that didn't come up. Did it?
Go on ahead. No, I don't know. What did I type in?
Dave is also chilled filtered. Is that what you said? Sorry, was that just meant for me? It didn't pop up. But he was good. It was good crack, and he didn't mind the Emmerdale thing. I just couldn't resist the Emmerdale thing. But there you go. Oh, you've even got a Peaky Blinders cap. That's fantastic, Marty.
Emmerdale Farm back in the day.
Fantastic. All right, save the date. Saturday the 20th of November, and that's the big outing. Maybe we should rephrase that. We should rephrase that.
Hang on. Are you coming out, Justin? Is that?
No, I'll be on Channel 4 already, unfortunately. So there you go. Hurry, some sort of car thingers. Oh yes, because we don't have bicycles. That's right. We don't have bicycles. We only have cars.
I have a motorbike license. If they would just hurry up and renew it.
Do you? All right. Have you managed to get that sorted? No.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a wrap. 75 minutes of pure entertainment. Dingle, the whiskey companion, all the news. Remember to comment, like, and share. Tell your friends. Find us on Anchor. Find us on Spotify. Ask your smart speaker to play us. And remember, YouTube, LinkedIn. Trying to get it to work on Twitch has proven extremely difficult. And also, what's the other one? Instagram. Yes, it'll be on Instagram tonight. So thanks very much for that. Michael Matthews is saying, sorry, can't make that, lads. Oh,
that's a pity.
That's a pity. I'll drink yours. No, we won't.
We don't provide any alcohol, Justin.
We don't provide any alcohol. No, that's right. That's right. William McCallum.
Just remember to get left home that night. All right.
Yeah, all right. That's code. All right.
It's not code for anything.
All right. It's a sign or a signifier then. All right.
All the best.